Welcome to our new explainer, where we will talk about Formula One racing and its incredible history. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the talk. And as always, keep learning and keep watching. Today, we're unpacking a world that is just this wild mix of cutting-edge tech, massive money, and raw emotion. It's a sport that demands absolute perfection from both the machine and the driver. To really grasp the sheer scale of F1 today, you've got to look at this staggering number, $36 billion. The sport is now a massive, highly tuned global empire, which honestly is a far cry from its dangerously unregulated raw origins back in the early 20th century. So here is our agenda for today. We'll start with the origins of Formula One, move on to eras of legendary rivalries, look at the billion-dollar global empire, discuss the high stakes and dark realities, and finally, explore the ultimate human machine. Section 1. The origins of Formula One, how it all started. You know, the name of the sport is literally its definition. Every single team, no matter how deep their pockets are, is bound by a strict formula. We're talking exact regulations on weight, dimensions, and safety standards, and they follow all this just to compete in Tier 1, the absolute pinnacle of motorsport sitting right above F2 and F3. This whole rulebook culminated in 1950 when the very first official world championship went down at Silverstone in England, crowning Giuseppe Farina as the first ever champion. This moment really kicked off a legacy of extreme danger and intense competition, quickly followed by Juan Manuel Fangio, who just absolutely dominated that perilous early era with 5 titles. Section 2. Eras of legendary rivalries, decades of dominance. Formula One history is really defined by these iconic, decade-spanning rivalries. You go from Fangio's dominance in the 50s right into the 70s with Niki Lauda and James Hunt. And remember, Lauda made a miraculous 6-week comeback from severe burns. Then the 80s gave us the incredibly fierce, politically charged Senna versus Prost battles. That paved the way for the Schumacher era in the 2000s, followed by Hamilton and Mercedes in the 2010s, and now Verstappen and Red Bull in the 2020s. Looking closely at recent years, we've seen a massive objective shift in power. We went from Lewis Hamilton's historic run straight into Max Verstappen's highly controversial 2021 win, the one that came down to that crazy last lap overtake. Verstappen then completely dominated the grid until the streak was finally interrupted in 2025 by Lando Norris, who secured McLaren's first driver's title in over 2 decades. Section 3. A billion-dollar global empire, valuations and manufacturers. What's wild is that on-track success translates directly into massive corporate value off the track, with average team valuations jumping an incredible 48% in 2025 alone. F1 now trails only the NFL and NBA. Ferrari is leading the pack, valued at up to $6.5 billion, which totally makes sense when you remember they're the only team to continuously race since that first season in 1950. But man, this manufacturer landscape is a high-stakes revolving door. Take Mercedes. They withdrew completely after a tragic disaster in 1955, only to return decades later and totally dominate. Then you have Toyota, who invested heavily in 2002, won exactly 0 races, and just exited in 2009. And get this, Jaguar was famously sold by Ford for literally £1 in 2004. That £1 team, that became the Red Bull powerhouse. Now, with huge brands like Audi and Cadillac entering in 2026, the stakes are getting even higher. So, why does all this matter to you when you're just driving to work? Because this billion-dollar tech trickles directly down to your daily commute. The aerodynamics research leads to modern, fuel-efficient designs. F1's energy recovery systems literally pave the way for modern hybrid engines. Even carbon fiber, advanced brakes, and critical crash structures, they all started as high-stakes experiments on the track before becoming standard safety features in your everyday road car. Section 4. High stakes and dark realities. The price of racing. Now, impartially speaking, this relentless pressure to win has repeatedly pushed teams right over the edge. The extreme financial stakes have led to massive historical cheating scandals, like the 2007 data theft known as Spygate, or Renault orchestrating a deliberate crash in 2008's Crashgate. Even recently, you have intense financial controversies, like Red Bull breaking the strict cost cap rules during their 2021 run. But there's an even darker reality here. The sport's history is tragically marked by fatalities. The 1994 Imola weekend brought the devastating loss of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna, an event that truly united the world in grief. Tragedies like that and Jules Bianchi's passing after his 2014 crash forced the FIA to mandate crucial, life-saving innovations. Things like advanced crash structures, head and neck support devices, and the virtual safety car. All of these safety revolutions culminated in the halo, a titanium structure protecting the driver's head. It is an absolute game changer. It miraculously saved Romain Grosjean from a fiery split-car crash in 2020 and protected Zhou Guanyu during a terrifying high-speed rollover in 2022. Section 5. The Ultimate Human Machine. Inside the Cockpit. Okay, let's zoom all the way in from those billion-dollar corporations to the single human in the cockpit. Check out this number, 190. A driver's heart rate can actually reach a sustained 190 beats per minute during a race. It just goes to show that driving an F1 car is an extreme test of physical and mental endurance. The physical toll is just mind-blowing. Drivers endure cockpit temperatures up to 50 degrees Celsius, all while fighting 5 to 6 Gs of force on their necks in corners. That requires marathon runner levels of cardio fitness, intense core training, and extremely strict calorie-controlled diets. Plus, they're maintaining this while surviving a grueling year-round schedule of 24 race weekends on top of their intense simulator training. When you compare it to a normal road car, it makes total sense why F1 drivers find everyday driving incredibly boring. Driving an F1 car, you have no power steering, which takes extreme arm strength. It has massive downforce for logic-defying high-speed cornering, and super stiff suspension that transfers literally every bump to your spine. Meanwhile, your normal car has effortless power steering, negligible downforce, and a soft, comfortable ride. They are practically different universes. Yet, even with all this extreme physical pressure, danger, and billion-dollar tech, human personality still shines through. You've got drivers like Kimi Räikkönen dropping deadpan, iconic lines on the radio like, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing." It's hilarious, and it's a great reminder that under that high-tech helmet, there's a real person dealing with all this chaos. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a fascinating paradox to think about. We've seen how this sport evolved from a raw, unregulated race into a technologically flawless empire. But at the end of the day, all of that engineering relies entirely on one person's reflexes. So ask yourself, in a $36 billion sport defined by absolute cutting-edge machines, is the ultimate limit the technology or the extraordinary, fragile human inside it? Thank you so much for joining us. Keep learning and keep watching.